Hello, and welcome to coverage of Grin's Gore for the custom standard format. I'm Caillou, and today we're going to be watching the Swiss round 4 match between Seismic Lons, who's playing blue-red colorless full automation, and Reuben, who's playing blue-black colorless control. So, Seismic's deck is essentially a mid-rangey deck focused around its titular card, Full Automation, which draws 2 cards and then puts any number of artifact cards from your hand onto the battlefield. The catch? It's 6 mana. Meanwhile, Reuben's deck is built around playing some of the best controlled spells in the format and then finishing off with some strong win cons in Mirage Oddity and also some of the colorless cards such as Eradicator Engine. So we're seeing turn 2 plays from each of these players. Seismic plays a currency in order to as a ramp engine into a turn 4 full automation, while Reuben is going to run out and into the Lion's Den, which is our format's premier hand attack, revealing, Witch of Shifting Waters, 2 Shimmering Dune Kite. He's definitely going to grab the Shimmering Dune Kite. So, Witch of Shifting Waters plus Shimmering Dune Kite is a combo for 6 mana that deals 20 hasty flying damage. So Seismic's plan with this hand was probably to ramp into that turn 4. Without the Shimmering Dune Kite, though, these Witch of Shifting Waters don't have anything to clone, so Seismic's hand starts looking a lot worse. He's going to run out of Lab Wrecker, though, destroying the Forlorn Ruin. Unfortunately, this Into the Lion's Den is not an artifact, so can't be hit by Lab Wrecker's ETB. So Seismic is just going to swing in with the Lab Wrecker. With 2 islands, Reuben is likely going to be unable to do anything about this unless he has it render inert. Doesn't seem like he does. And Seismic keeps hitting good top decks. Is going to run out a Cyber Savant. Reuben is going to let this resolve, which means that Seismic gets to upload the top card of his library. Hitting another currency. Probably not what you want here, but then can sacrifice the treasure tokens created by currency to the first currency for more card advantage. Reuben just gonna draw a card and not have another land drop. Yikes. Probably doesn't want to play non-basic lands until he has an answer to this Lab Wrecker, because he knows that Seismic Lons has the Witch of Shifting Waters, and therefore, even if Reuben counters the Witch of Shifting Waters, the Inspirit will allow Seismic to flicker the Lab Wrecker and kill any non-basics. The problem with that is if Reuben doesn't have an answer to the Lab Wrecker, he's just going to keep taking a minimum of 3 next turn. More if Seismic keeps building out his board with these top-decked threats like Cyber Savant. He's instead going to upload the currency and then probably just play it out. Yep, is going to run out the currency. Reuben once again doesn't have the counter magic for it, so it's going to resolve. So on end, Reuben's going to tap out and render inert the Lab Wrecker. Render inert is not super great, though, versus Witch of Shifting Waters. So Reuben now also needs to have counter magic for Witch of Shifting Waters. Otherwise, Seismic just inspirits a Witch onto Lab Wrecker, copies Cyber Savant. I guess the render inert on the Lab Wrecker does kind of make the clock on Reuben shorter. It gives him some time to breathe and draw into some interaction. But yeah, it's still not great. And without like an Oppress the Weak for this Lab Wrecker, Reuben's just going to be constantly in fear of Lab Wrecker plus Witch of Shifting Waters. Seismic just goes to end. Reuben's going to opt on end. I'm surprised Seismic didn't run out one of the witches onto the Lab Wrecker and copy the Cyber Savant. I feel like that would be a good way to get card advantage, while also doubling your clock on Reuben from 12 to 6 turns. It also makes it so that if Reuben tries to ever remove the Cyber Savant or tries to board wipe, you can Lab Wrecker and immediately kill something. Though I guess maybe Seismic's thought is just gonna hold up mana and then crack the 2 treasure tokens with the currency to draw 2 cards. Alternatively, might actually have top decked a full automation, does have 6 mana here, and might be waiting for Reuben to tap out. That's the full automation, yep. Didn't wait for Reuben to tap out, though. It's just going to run this boy out. And Reuben doesn't have the counter magic for it. Is Seismic gonna hit anything? Doesn't hit any artifacts to put into play. You don't want to be playing 6 mana divination, dog. The good news is Reuben did run out, and I guess Reuben can crack the Umber Steps in response to a Labbreaker trigger. So never mind. I was just about to say it's a non-basic that Labbreaker can hit. But yeah, I don't know what Reuben has in hand right now, but it must be like some Eradicator engines plus like Epic of Ekbrahms or something. Okay, Seismic gonna attack in for another 1. Then just go to end. Still think that he should Inspirit the Labbreaker. Giving Reuben this time to stabilize is the exact opposite of what Seismic needs to do. And I'm surprised Reuben didn't crack the Umber Steps on end. That makes me think that Reuben definitely has an Eradicator engine in hand. And then if Reuben runs out an Eradicator engine here, Seismic can Witch of Shifting Waters copy it and then destroy either Into the Lion's Den or Render Inert. So actually it would be best for Reuben if he didn't run out an Eradicator engine. So yeah, Reuben's just going to pass after playing that Abandoned Excavation. Once again though, Abandoned Excavation this time actually is a non-basic land that's vulnerable to Witch on Labbreaker. So once again, is Seismic going to run it out? No, it's just going to run out a third currency? Yeah, I'm really surprised by this decision by Seismic not to run out the Witches. I don't know. Okay, finally he's going to run out a Witch. Inspiriting the Labbreaker. At this point, it might have been best to hardcast the Witch, but I guess the thought is this not hardcasting the Witch and inspiriting it plays better against counter magic. So Reuben really shouldn't counter this, I think. Oh, interesting, but Seismic is just going to use it as a flicker. Is not going to copy anything on ETB, let it die, have the Labbreaker shoot Abandoned Excavation. So I guess whether or not Reuben countered it, the result would have been the same. In response, Reuben's going to tap out for... What could this be? Can Epic of Ekbrahms with the Abandoned Excavation. So Epic of Ekbrahms, X equals 1 to draw a card. Man, these people really do be playing expensive divinations, huh? I guess this one isn't even a divination. Just, me expensive card draw. But yeah, after that, the Abandoned Excavation still dies. And the clock on Reuben is now up to 3 turns. But yeah, it seems my earlier statement of Reuben definitely having a bunch of Epic of Ekbrahms in hand is probably right. And unfortunately now, unless Reuben cracks his Umber Steps, they're going to be uncastable. So Reuben going to play a Fractured Remnant. Once again, Labbreaker would like to know your location. Ooh, but is going to use Fractured Remnant's waste trigger on itself. I feel like that's one of the first times that must have happened. And as a waste, it is a non-basic land. So Seismic can't flicker the Labbreaker to kill it. Is Seismic going to trade in some of these treasure tokens for card advantage? Looks like he isn't. He has drawn another Shimmering Dune Kite, so he's going to try and run out the full combo. Reuben does have the Essence Scatter for the Dune Kite, though. So Witch Kite is not going to be happening today. Seismic, though, still has that 3-turn clock with the Labbreaker plus Cyber Savant. In fact, could kill Reuben this turn if he decided to use the treasure tokens, Inspirit a Witch onto Cyber Savant, copy Labbreaker. That would give Seismic the 2 power more that he needed to be able to kill Reuben. Also notably, Reuben did crack the Umber Steps for a Swamp. Royal Domain giving full access. Is this going to be a Fall of Atanis? No. Vibrant Rapture, X equals 3. Is able to kill the Cyber Savant and the Labbreaker. So I guess it didn't matter whether or not Seismic ran out the Witch. The only difference would be right now, Seismic would get the Cyber Savant ETB trigger. Reuben gets 2 petals, which means could still potentially have counter magic up. Oh, but has a Mecha Dragon. That's another must-answer threat. Does Reuben have the counter magic? If not, Reuben just dies. Or Reuben can actually have an Oppress the Weak. But yeah, otherwise, Mecha Dragon comes down, Seismic sacrifices an artifact to give it haste, sacrifices another to give it +1/+0, and kills Reuben. Reuben's going to let it resolve. Probably has an Oppress the Weak, but Seismic's just still going to go for it, giving the Mecha Dragon haste. And swinging in, and then going to crack the treasure to make it a 6/4. And at that crucial moment, Reuben taps his pedals to say GG. Was just pretending to have something up in order to spook Seismic. But yeah, the early Lab Wrecker really put Reuben off of his stride, and he just wasn't able to come back from that mana denial. And I think having to constantly play around your opponent potentially having a from hand kill you combo is really difficult. And even though Control is probably the best archetype for that, Reuben just could not find the footing to both have answers and run out win cons. Meanwhile, even though the full automation kind of sputtered a little bit there, the rest of Seismic's deck did good work. And I think that's what makes it a good full automation deck. It's not going super all in. It's just playing good solid cards, and full automation comes in as a card advantage plus big splashy finisher. But even if you never draw full automation, you're still in pretty good shape. Yeah, you definitely would think that decks like that are running currency to try and ramp into something kind of crazy would hate running into a control deck. So let's see if that applies in game 2, because when you currency only to have the big threat that you were trying to run out be countered, definitely sucks. So Reuben once again with the proactive Into the Lion's Den turn 2. Let's see what Seismic's got this time. Ooh, 4 lands, Blitz Suit, Eon Overwatch, Sandwarp. I think if you're Reuben, pretty easy decision to just grab the Eon Overwatch. Blitz Suit doesn't have anything to crew the Blitz Suit with. Sandwarp, while it is scary, can't run it out for a hot minute. So yeah, this is not a super great hand for Seismic. I think the only two choices are, like, you take the Eon Overwatch or you take the Sandwarp. I'd personally grab the Eon Overwatch, but then if Reuben's thought process could be if Seismic draws into another threat, Sandwarp could be an issue for resolving that, and if Reuben has answers for Eon Overwatch anyways, could probably just grab the Sandwarp and then 1-for-1 Seismic all day. So in the end, is gonna grab a Sandwarp. Must have good answers in hand for this Eon Overwatch. So on end, Seismic cracked the fetch for Ritzy Parlor. I'm kind of confused about the inclusion of the Blitz Suits in this deck, but I guess the reason that they're in there is for when you full automation combo off, because they give other creatures +1/0 and haste. So if you hit Blitz Suit plus, say, like Eon Overwatch plus Liminal Observer, drop all 3 with Blitz Suit, suddenly you're swinging in for a total of 11, 5 of which is in the air. That's pretty good. Oh, and this probably explains why Reuben was fine grabbing the Sandwarp. Just has a second Into the Lion's Den. Constant hand attack. And Seismic drew into a Find of a Lifetime. I think that's a snap take. You do not want Seismic to have draw 7 relevant cards. In the Eon Overwatch, Reuben probably has more interaction for it, given that Reuben has, Essence Scatters. So yeah, he's gonna take the Find of a Lifetime. Seismic, though, is gonna top deck a Cyber Savant, and Reuben has to let this resolve. Good top deck. Ooh, and hits Witch off the upload? Yeah, Seismic hitting these top decks. Ooh, but Reuben has a Fangmarked Cave. And gonna run out the Wall of Mysteries. Definitely would have liked some of these in the first game. It was just dried up on blockers that first game. But yeah, this plus the Fangmarked Cave just presents an early threat plus a good win con plus it acts as removal itself. Yeah, I don't know. The only problem is having to sacrifice 8 life to Fangmarked Cave, because at that point if Seismic draws into a Mecha Dragon, suddenly things become a problem. But otherwise, if Reuben can just run this out and raise Seismic, honestly. Would need to keep up mana for counter magic though, because he knows that Seismic has the Eon Overwatch. So Reuben is going to tap out for a Vibrant Raptor X equals 3 to kill the Cyber Savant. That is a weird play. Yeah, I don't know why Reuben would do that. Now doesn't have counter magic up for an Eon Overwatch. That was just a bad 1-mana removal spell. So yeah, Seismic is going to run out the Eon Overwatch. Yeah, Reuben has to let it resolve, unless he's going to bounce into the Lion's Den. Yup. So now can grab back the Find of a Lifetime. And now Reuben... Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get why Reuben would do that. Unless Reuben's hand is kind of whack, that feels like a huge punt. Reuben has 6 mana now. Well, did he do this so that he would have mana up for removal for Eon Overwatch plus counter magic this turn? Can't imagine. So Reuben's gonna transform Hakbora, paying 8 life. Seismic has to sacrifice the Eon Overwatch. Gets to swing in for 6. If Seismic has Witch, though, Seismic can literally... Like, I feel like Seismic has so many options here. Like, is technically on a 3-turn clock because of this Hakbora, but Find of a Lifetime into removal spell on the Hakbora works. If Seismic has a Witch Kite, can run that out. I was going to hard cast a Witch from hand. Probably copy Hakbora. Yup, so now Reuben can't really attack in. Gonna tap 2 more for a currency. And then probably use the treasure tokens to download the other witch. That's what I would do at least. No, it's just gonna go to end. Maybe he wants to save up the mana for a double spell turn. That would also be plausible. Or could maybe have Mecha Dragon and wants to have more artifacts to be able to run out the power on it. Okay, so Reuben's gonna run out into the Lion's Den once more because it's no longer grabbed by the Eon Overwatch's ability. Revealed Blitzsuit, Find of a Lifetime. Reuben's gonna take the find. This actually really makes me question why Seismic didn't Find of a Lifetime last turn. Because now he's down to 1 bad card in hand versus Reuben's 5 presumably good cards, some of which are answers. And while Find wouldn't have been an immediate answer to this Hakbora, it would have... I think it would have... Like, losing the 6 life next turn would not have been so bad versus Reuben's deck, such that drawing 7 cards is... Like, not drawing 7 cards is an okay trade-off. Reuben's going to swing in with the Hakbora. Seismic's going to take the 2, but then block Reuben's Hakbora. In response, Reuben is going to press the weak on the Hakbora copy. So that is 8 is more than 5, so the witch is definitely going to die. And now Seismic is back to top decking. Yeah, definitely should have cast the Find of a Lifetime. Next turn can start cracking some of these petals and treasures for cards, though. So could rebuild that way. But is also currently on a 2-turn clock, so if Seismic doesn't draw an answer next turn, just loses. Oh, but that's a lot of mana. Is gonna download and cast the Witch of Shifting Waters. Hakbora copy number 2. But once again, can't really do much because Reuben swings out with Hakbora, Seismic takes 2 and blocks. If Seismic tries to swing back, Reuben just chumps with the Wall of Mysteries and then has a faster clock than Seismic does. Ooh, but he's going to crack 2, play Blitzsuit. The Hakbora becomes a 5/5, I guess. Reuben's just going to take 2, chump with the Wall of Mysteries. Yeah, Seismic still loses this race. I feel like keeping the treasures around to crack for currency would have been the better play. So Reuben's going to swing in with Hakbora. Seismic down to 6 life. And with Reuben having 5 cards in hand, probably has an answer if Seismic somehow untap Mecha Dragons or untap Shimmering Dune Kite, which are both things that can kill Reuben if Reuben doesn't have an answer to them. Okay, but it's going to tap 2 and play a Wall of Mysteries. And that once again makes it unlikely that Seismic will be able to kill Reuben. And that Abandoned Excavation makes it even more likely because now Reuben can generate 3 blue and therefore probably have any counter magic that he likes up. Also means that he can have Oppress the Weak up. Unless Reuben's hand is essentially all Epic of Ekbrahms are just dead in general, I think it's just very unlikely that Seismic wins this game. And gonna swing in with Hakbora? Is he insane? He just loses on the crackback. Should at least cast something first. Like if he's gonna cast something main 2 to block the Hakbora or kill it. Because like, if you find out it doesn't work and Reuben doesn't let you resolve it, well then you're just screwed then, aren't you? Because tap everything for a main phase full automation. Should've, like, oh, but Reuben lets it resolve. Thank God, but Seismic really could have gotten screwed there if Reuben had had counter magic. And it looks like Seismic didn't hit anything off of the full automation, so he's gonna lose to the Hakbora. Yeah, once again, like, doing that main 2 is so baffling to me. I don't, like, and they can't even be playing around an Epic of Ekbrahm, x equals 1. Or, sorry, x equals 2, because Reuben didn't have the mana for Epic of Ekbrahm, x equals 2. So yeah, like, I don't know why Seismic wouldn't just do that main 1. It wouldn't have mattered either way, but if Seismic had gotten actually good hits off of it, could have not only maybe killed Reuben, but also it would have been a safer way to scout out his own options and whether or not to attack. Actually, yeah, could have survived by just not attacking. So yeah, I think that was a huge misplay by Seismic. Let's hope he doesn't keep making those into game 3. So Seismic ran out of currency. Reuben doesn't have the turn 2 into the Lion's Den though, so this isn't like a mirror image of game 1. And wow, has 2 Ancient Shelters and is running them out before any other land? That's kind of surprising. Because usually I feel like if you're Seismic you'd want to save these. But I guess, oh, he's just going to play something this turn. Turn 3 Mecha Dragon ain't bad. Ain't bad at all. So I'm just going to run it out under any counter magic. Reuben could still untap and have a Render Inert or Oppress the Weak for this though. That 4 toughness is a liability. And yeah, there it is. Reuben just untaps, oppresses the weak, the mechanic, the Mecha Dragon. And that's why sometimes playing currency versus control, man. You do your thing, you ramp out a huge cool boy, and then they answer it, and you're back to just sighing at yourself and being like, should have invested in like long term. Oh, but has it say another currency? I guess currency is one of those cards which does get better in multiples because you're able to sacrifice the treasure tokens to itself. And wow, running out of Blitz Suit. Once again, these Blitz Suits are looking hella dead versus Reuben. I almost feel like it would have been better to, unless Seismic has plans to play something next turn, would have been better to hold up the mana and crack the treasure on end. Not cracking the treasure makes me feel like either Seismic has Witch Kite combo in hand or has full automation. Which, given that Reuben is tapping out for this Wall of Mysteries, could mean that Reuben's shields down moment is going to be an issue. But nope, has Into the Lion's Den. And that's going to stymie whatever plan Seismic had. And that's a Mana Confluence plus Find of a Lifetime. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, without Find of a Lifetime, Seismic's in dire straits here. That would have been the straight draw 7. Still can crack these treasures for to draw some more cards. And it looks like whatever Seismic top decked wasn't worth playing. Probably just another land. So just gonna pass back Reuben, meanwhile, is just going to increase this lead. He's got a whopping 6 cards in hand to Seismic's 1. So Seismic is going to sacrifice the Blitz suit to currency, trying to draw into something. I'm going to do it again, but this time with one of the treasure tokens. And then just going to pass back. Or sorry, that was on Reuben's end. So now, Seismic's turn. One of those cards is a mountain. So I guess that's probably what he top decked. But this is 6 mana, full automation. Full automation. Is one of Reuben's 5 cards in hand a counterspell though? Apparently not. Reuben's letting it resolve. Please, Seismic, don't whiff. And Seismic, this time, does not whiff on the full automation. 3rd time's a charm. He's going to Eon Overwatch, bounce into the Lion's Den. Gets a Find of a Lifetime. Plus gets a draw card off the Cyber Savant. This is called getting there. And yeah, next turn Seismic can just untap, cast the Find of a Lifetime, which makes it hard for Reuben to interact with this Eon Overwatch. Because I feel like, what removal spells does Reuben have for this Eon Overwatch that are cheap? I don't think anything. Is going to oppress the weak. Yeah, but that's only -4, -4. Can kill the Cyber Savant. This Eon Overwatch is going to stick around and present a looming 4-turn clock for Reuben. And Reuben can't even draw a card off the Oppress the Weak because he doesn't have Civilized. Just like that, the situation is completely flipped. It was looking like Seismic was just going to drown out, but man, I guess Reuben really didn't have the counter magic. Sometimes you just have to force them to have it. And Seismic was just like, I'm going to be bold. I'm just going to play this spell and see what happens. Oof, and Reuben running out a 2nd Wall of Mysteries. Just cantripping is definitely says that Reuben's in dire straits. And then just going to play Fractured Remnant and pass, wasting his island. Does potentially have interaction up here. Could have like a Sand Warp or something. But like a hard cast Sand Warp. But it's looking rough. So yeah, Seismic's going to swing in with the Eon Overwatch. Reuben's just going to take it. The clock is at 3 now. And then, Witch of Shifting Waters and Spirited onto the Eon Overwatch. And I don't know why Seismic's doing this. What is he going to bounce? The Wall of Mysteries? Okay. That seems like a bad play. Unless Seismic has ground attackers. And then he's going to run out the Find of a Lifetime. I guess was trying to bait counter magic. But instead he's going to horribly backfire. He said it was going to horribly backfire. The Seismic's last card in hand was a Sand Warp, so it can counter the Epic of Ekbrom. And Find of a Lifetime resolves, hitting, Jesus, 2 more Find of a Lifetimes, Shimmering Dunekite, Spell Pierce, Mecha Dragon, Lab Wrecker, and another Spell Pierce. God. So Reuben needs... God. So those are 4 must-counter threats, plus 2 pieces of interaction from Seismic. And the Lab Wrecker ain't shabby either. This is in addition to the 3-turn clock Seismic already has on board. Probably every control player's worst nightmare. So Reuben's going to play it into the Lion's Den. What do you probably just grab Dunekite or Mecha Dragon. Probably Mecha Dragon. Okay, he's going to grab Dunekite. I was saying Mecha Dragon because Mecha Dragon puts you to a 2-turn clock rather than a 3-turn. Though realistically, I guess Dunekite also does the same because it's 18 damage. So Seismic is going to run out the Lab Wrecker. Interesting. Reuben's going to Essence Scatter that, but has a Spell Pierce. I don't know if that's worth playing though, because Reuben does have 2 mana to pay. And what could Seismic have for 3 mana that would be worth playing right here? This just feels like a waste of a card from Seismic. Or maybe he's like playing mind games with Reuben. Yeah, Reuben's just going to pay the 2. Okay, Seismic's going to run out Spell Pierce number 2 using the treasure token. I don't know that this Lab Wrecker was that important to resolve, but okay, dog. I'm just going to kill the Fractured Remnant. Really could have done that with something more impactful like the Mecha Dragon, honestly. Should have done that with the Mecha Dragon, because the Mecha Dragon then would have just straight been able to kill Reuben next turn. Hell, even maybe this turn. Main 2 is going to download the Fractured Remnant and play it. And yeah, Reuben's still on a 2-turn clock. And if he doesn't hold up interaction, he's dead next turn to Mecha Dragon. And Reuben's going to run out an Eon Overwatch of his own. Bounce Seismic's Eon Overwatch, turning the tables. If Seismic has a Witch of Shifting Waters here, though... No, but does have a second Lab Wrecker, can just kill the Eon Overwatch this way. Probably then routing out the Lab Wrecker was all just a big bait. 10,000 IQ. And it's just going to go to end. And then next turn, if Reuben plays something, Seismic can just Eon Overwatch it. Otherwise, can keep attacking with these Lab Wreckers. Never mind, can't keep attacking in with these Lab Wreckers. Wall of Mysteries number 2 is going to be coming down. Reuben is slowly but surely clinging on to life here. He's not going to let Seismic take him down without a fight. Unless Seismic has drawn something else, I feel like just running out the Mecha Dragon and giving it haste is probably his best play here. No, he's going to Eon Overwatch, bounce into the Lion's Den, grab Shimmering Dunekite. Reuben is going to Essence Scatter this, though. Seismic has another play? Has a Cyber Savant. The board size keeps increasing, as does the card advantage. Ritzy Parlor is probably not a card you care about downloading, but getting it off the top of Seismic's library is what matters. Wall of Mysteries number 3, though. Seismic is not going to be able to get any damage through on the ground. And then just going to pass. Full Automation number 2 when? If there's ever a time for it, I think this would be it. But no, it's going to download the Ritzy Parlor. Weird. I feel like that's the last action you should take, if anything. But I guess maybe needs the double red for something. It's going to tap out for Mecha Dragon. Reuben lets it resolve. Seismic is probably just going to pay to give it haste. Yep. Does Reuben have the Oppress the Weak? Yes, he does. Mecha Dragon not going to be coming in anytime soon. So Reuben slowly, inevitably, is saying, I am still in this game. And could honestly, if he draws an Epic of Ekbrom, really make a crazy comeback here. Oh, has a win con of his own. That's a Mirage Oddity. And Seismic's tapped out, and he's going to have trouble answering this. And he's going to run out the Eon Overwatch now. I guess, no wait, this is not the same Eon Overwatch, so I guess he top-decked another Eon Overwatch. But one of Reuben's last cards is an Essence Scatter. 4 mana though, is that another Lab Wrecker? Lab Wrecker number 3. Then probably just kill the Fractured Remnant, yep. The problem is, this Lab Wrecker does not exactly present a good clock alongside the Cyber Savant, because Reuben can just block all 3 Lab Wreckers with the Wall of Mysteries, and then Cyber Savant can't get through. Like, this is probably the first time I'm going to say this, but I think Seismic needs a Blitz Suit, so that these Lab Wreckers can kill the Wall of Mysteries. Yeah, Reuben's going to swing in for 4 with the Mirage Oddity. Unfortunately, only has 1 card left in hand, so Seismic could just get under him right now. Especially with Seismic at 9 mana, if Seismic has another land plus another threat, could double spell. Has Mecha Dragon though. Does Reuben have the one last answer for it? Threat after threat after threat Seismic is playing. And it's just like, does Reuben have it? No. Does he have an Oppress the Weak at least? Let's see. Seismic's going to be swinging in for 5 here. There's actually no reason not to swing with everything for that extra 1. Yep, he's going to swing with everything. The Wall of Mysteries are going to block those Lab Wreckers. See, these Lab Wreckers, they're simple folk. They know how to get out of labs. They don't know how to get into ruins. Simple folk. And Reuben takes 6 from the Cyber Savant, and Mecha Dragon is dead next turn unless he has an answer to this Mecha Dragon. And ooh, currency number 3 from Seismic. We know the last 2 cards in Seismic's hand now are Find of a Lifetimes. With this much mana, Seismic could easily play Find of a Lifetime and then curve it into another threat even if Reuben answers this Mecha Dragon. Reuben probably has to... What is this? Eon Overwatch number 2? Just bounces the Mecha Dragon and Seismic can't replay it. Swings in for 4 this turn, swings in for 9 next turn. Reuben is back to having the clock. I feel like if you're Seismic, you just play Find of a Lifetime right here. Unless, of course, you top decked another threat. But Find of a Lifetime and then try to curve it into another threat. No, that's not... That's a single colored mana. Oh no, that's 6 mana, that's full automation. Full automation number 2, what a top deck! And Reuben's last card in hand is not an answer to this. And the crazy part is, this allows Seismic to avoid the restriction from Eon Overwatch because he isn't casting the Mecha Dragon, he's putting it into his hand, putting it into play from his hand. And then it's gonna... Oh my god. Has a Witch of Shifting Waters as well? And I think Reuben just loses. Yeah, because Witch of Shifting Waters and Mecha Dragon give them both haste. Oh my god. What a sequence of cards from Seismic. That was a crazy game. Absolutely insane games. But damn, good games to Seismic Lawns. And Seismic takes it 2-1 on a blue-red colorless full automation over Reuben on blue-black colorless control. And seals his slot in the cut to top 4. It also means that our top 4 is completely decided. It's going to be CFT Sock on 4-color Harmonized Together, Plipster on Jund Mutants, Zoo on Big Blue, and now Seismic Lawns on blue-red colorless full automation. Definitely this tournament, other than the Harmonized Together, lots of sleeper hit decks making it to the top 4, so I'm really excited to see how those matchups play out. But yeah, until then, this is Caillou signing off.